On Thomas's branch line, there's a stretch of track that runs along the coast. It runs near the river, and when it rains or whenever the weather's bad, the tide rises, which sometimes causes flooding towards the line. Around 9 times out of 10, the rain will sometimes wash away the earth beneath the rails altogether. This would sometimes cause repairs to the track to delay trains along the line, which would also cause confusion and delay. One stormy evening, Thomas was traveling home with a full train of passengers. Bertie was late coming to Farquhar, and he wanted to make up for lost time. "Wherever is that bus?" he complained. "He'd better not be gallivanting over some silly rain like Henry." After 10 minutes, Bertie arrived tired, and his cheeks were as red as his paint. "Sorry, Thomas. A bit of flooding on the road. Had to take a detour," he said out of breath. "And most of the road was slippery. Best be careful on the rails then." Thomas took this in note, but he had to make up for lost time. So he sat off right away as the guard walked inside Clarabelle, nearly making him fall out. "Thomas, slow down!" Annie cried as they hurried down the line. "It's dangerous for you to go at this speed. We're not racing Bertie now." "We'll be delayed even more if we slow down," he retorted. "Besides, what's the worst that could happen?" But he spoke too soon. As he turned a corner, a danger signal came into view, and soon found out why. Some of the sleepers had rotted away, and the earth beneath the rails had washed away. Now the rails were sagging down the nearby valley. The driver tried to brake, but the rails were too slippery. "Good Godred!" Thomas cried as he derailed. He found himself derailed, and so was Annie. "I guess I had that coming, didn't I?" he said. The driver and fireman who had jumped clear inspected the damage with the guard. The passengers were badly shaken, but no one was hurt. "Well, that's torn it," his driver said. He walked to the nearest station, which was another kilometer, and phoned for help. Soon, Toby arrived with the breakdown train, and Daisy came to take the passengers away. After repairing the line for a week, the broken area was fixed. Thomas was taken to the sheds to be cleaned, and Percy couldn't help but laugh when he arrived and heard about it. "Sounds to me like you went on the slip and slide, Thomas. Driver told me it's this plastic mat that has a hose running water on it, and children slide down it. How was it?" he teased. Thomas just ignored him. Just then, Toby came back. "It wasn't his fault now, Percy," he said. "He couldn't help it. The tracks can be dangerous during a storm. You remember when you nearly had your fire put out when you pulled the train into floodwater, but you kept your promise to Thomas and made it through." "Of course I remember," remarked Percy. "Water's nothing to an engine with determination." "Really?" asked Thomas. "What happened to you at the quayside when you wanted to go past the danger sign?" he teased. "Well, that was years ago," Percy reasoned. "I'm much more sensible now than before, and I wouldn't pull a silly move like your incident, Thomas. It's immature, like a slip and slide. No matter, we live and learn." And Percy set off, leaving a wide-eyed Thomas and Toby at the sheds. Percy puffed to Farquhar station with Annie and Clarabelle. He had to do the passenger run that day, since Thomas was still being cleaned. "Get in quickly, please," he peeped. "Unlike Thomas, I'm on time," he boasted, and puffed off. Along the line, he saw clouds forming. "Looks like a storm's brewing for later," his driver observed. "We best be careful." "Indeed," Percy said, trying to sound sophisticated. "Better be careful just in case." Soon he arrived back at Farquhar with the return train. The yard foreman came up to his driver. "Thomas had to take a goods train from the junction to here. Can you take it for him?" "Why, of course," Percy replied, vain. "We must stick to the schedule. The fat controller would never approve," he said, glancing at Thomas. Thomas just ignored him, but he couldn't help but frown from the remark. Percy arrived at the junction and saw the train. He backed onto it and sat off. As he puffed down the line near the coast, he was thinking about what he would say when he saw Thomas again. But he forgot about the storm, and so did his driver. It had mainly been cloudy for the rest of the day, but then it started to rain. "Never mind," he said, "it's just spitting." But it began to fall faster and harder. Percy felt as if he was in the water, and when he took a plunge into the sea at the harbor, he didn't see the red signal, and when he did, it was too late. He splashed a puddle, and when he opened his eyes, he saw the rails were completely gone ahead of him. Percy derailed and splashed into the deep floodwater near the track. Percy's crew phoned for help. Thomas arrived with the workmen and the breakdown train. "Well, well, well," he teased. "How's being a sensible engine now than before? I know you said you wouldn't pull a silly move like my incident, but I never knew you meant to top it." "No matter, we live and learn." But Percy just ignored him, even if he knew it was immature.